Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Foti, and welcome to Destiny. Now, this is going to be my full series on the game, and I'm going to pick up exactly where we left off in the Destiny beta. So, what I decided to do is, to open up the series, I'm going to start it off with the multiplayer gameplay, so we can get some of the multiplayer footage out of the way, and we can jump right into where we left off in the beta. Now, I wanted to really play this game. I've been playing this game for about a day now. It's been out for about a day and a half. It'll be 2 days by the time this video uploads. So I figured instead of rushing out a video on Destiny and showing you guys the same thing that you've probably already seen a million times because of the beta footage, instead I would play some games in multiplayer, kind of get a handle on everything in the game, and catch up to where we left off so that we can get some good, interesting, new, fresh footage for you guys. Now, the Destiny multiplayer experience comes right now with 4 different multiplayer game types, and you have to play each individual one that they give you to unlock the next tier. And it starts out with the game type that I'm showing you now, which is Control, which is a 6 versus 6 objective-based, kind of like Domination in Call of Duty, if you ever played that. There are 3 points on the map that you have to control, capture, and take from the enemy, and whoever has the highest amount of points, you get more points per kill the more points that you hold, and whoever has the highest points at the end obviously wins. But they also have a team deathmatch, which is a 6 versus 6 straight-up team deathmatch, and then they have a Rumble Pit, which is a 6-person free-for-all. Then they have a 3 versus 3, kind of like a skirmish. And I got a chance to play all the game types, and I gotta say, out of all of them, I can't pick a favorite because I love them all. But I personally prefer objective-based game types in general, so I decided to stick with the Control gameplay that I got. I was streaming last night on Twitch at about 2 in the morning, and we had about 15, 20 viewers in there, which was pretty good considering it was a middle of the night, last minute, just gonna start streaming just because my internet started working again kind of deal. I mean, either way, we had a pretty good time with everything, and we ended up getting some pretty good footage. I'm gonna make some highlights on my Twitch channel itself. I'll leave a link down below for all that, but I gotta say, in a whole, the multiplayer experience feels very smooth and refined. The first impression with Destiny so far and in its entirety was just overwhelming, to say the least. I am a huge Bungie fan. I'm pretty sure everybody already knows that, but if you didn't know that, you do now. So I might be a little bit biased, but I think the game was just very well done. It doesn't seem like they changed much from the beta, so that impression kind of carried over into the full release. There's a lot more little things that they added to the game, which you'll see throughout the Let's Play that I'm going to continue after this gameplay that I post today. But all in all, the experience was nothing but good for me, except for the matchmaking and the loading screens do take a little bit longer than expected. And if there's no internet, you can't connect to the servers, obviously, but I would like some sort of offline option just to be able to play the single player by myself if I had to. But considering this is supposed to be an MMO, I guess I can overlook that and just kind of take it bad with the good. But there really isn't a lot of bad that I've seen so far, and I've had between 10 to 20 hours to play this game and really get a feel for it. And I picked the same class, so I can't really speak for the other two, but I know for a fact that the Gunslinger is the most fun class that I've played on any console-based RPG game since Dark Souls. And, I mean, Dark Souls was fun in its own way. It was really, really challenging, and I can't wait for the DLC. But as far as first-person shooter RPGs, there aren't many to begin with, and the only other one that I can relate it to is Borderlands. And to relate this game to Borderlands is kind of doing it an injustice, because Borderlands is kind of a caricature-y, cartoony game. I love the game to death. It's just Destiny takes it to a whole different level. Like, if you were to compare the two games, I would say Destiny would be a combination of the mechanics of Borderlands improved, the graphics of Halo, and the setting of Mass Effect. So if you were to put all 3 of those together, that's the best way that I can think of to describe Destiny to somebody who's never seen it or played it before. Speaking of which, I'm actually really excited about the pre-sequel. I don't know if I'm going to do a series on that on the channel or not, but the Borderlands 1.5, or the new Borderlands is coming out. They're calling it the pre-sequel because it's the sequel to the first but the prequel to the second. I'm really, 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 really looking forward to that. Hopefully I'll be able to play it on the PS4. I'm pretty sure it's released for all systems. That'd be dumb for them not to release it for every system. But I want to try and take advantage of this PS4 as much as I can. And speaking of that, I just downloaded PT recently, and it's the Silent Hill demo, the new Silent Hill demo, and I looked at that. I just watched a quick little 30-second clip of the gameplay, and we're going to have some fun with that eventually when I record it. And that's going to be between Destiny and the Dark Souls DLC. I'm going to try and get as many horror games as I can in as much as possible between now and the end of history of time. Speaking of horror games, I still have to play Five Nights at Freddy's and a couple other games that you guys recommended. I want to do some more Amnesia Custom Stories that I have on my list, and some other smaller indie horror games that are supposed to be really scary. I have a list of about 6 or 7 games right now that I really want to tackle and showcase on the channel, because I want to be able to make more reaction highlights, but I can't make scary game highlights if I don't play scary games. And it seems like I'm consumed with Dark Souls and Destiny and everything else that's not horror related, so I've got to try and find time for horror games as well. But going back to Destiny, there were a couple of things that I noticed in playing just through the areas that they released in the beta, that they let us play in the beta, and they added a whole bunch of little things, like I said before. One of the most prominent things that I saw, the most prevalent things that I saw in the content that we had already covered that I hadn't seen before was the beacon/patrol missions, which is basically, it's all recycled content of the main story, so it kind of gets a little bit dull seeing the same areas, but there are new objectives to do, kind of like side quests in the same area. And it would have been nice if I knew about that while I was doing the main quest line, because then I could have knocked out both at the same time, kind of the way I do in MMOs. I just sort of go through everything and try and collect as much as I can, as much as possible. But I was going back through the area, just trying to grind a couple of levels before I got to the next area, which, right, I landed on the moon, which is where we ended, I think, on the beta. But they have these little beacons on the ground that you can interact with when you have your ghost out, and they give you these objectives like kill X amount of Fallen to get their equipment that they use to charge their weapons or something. Just basic kill and collect missions that you can drop off, or that you don't even have to drop off, you just have to complete and you automatically get the rewards. And also I noticed they added more enemies and areas, like small little side areas and areas that have way over-leveled things for the level that you are. I accidentally walked into a cave once and there were a couple of Hive Knights, or whatever they're called, the guys that are fighting the Fallen that are also fighting you, the other enemies that are out there, the bug people. There were a couple of knights in there that had question marks for levels, and they were immune to all the damage that I tried to do to them, and then they just slapped me around, they one-hit me, and I went back down there, and I figured I didn't push a button or something, or I didn't pull a lever, but no, they just slapped me around again, and they killed me again in one hit with a giant freaking rocket plasma cannon thing. I decided to cut my losses and not go down there anymore, and probably revisit it later when there's another quest that would point me towards whatever I have to do to get there. But anyway, all things considered, all the stuff that I've played is really just the same content that we showed, which is why I'm kind of glad that I didn't just post a video as soon as I got everything running, because then it would have been boring. It would have been the same thing you guys saw, and I don't want to do that. I really want to push out stuff that you guys haven't seen, and unfortunately I missed the whole 24-hour window of release, so I missed a bunch of exposure to new fans and everything. But you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how much exposure each video gets, as long as you guys who are already here enjoy it, and you share the videos with your friends every once in a while and get that slow, gradual increase. We can expand our channel that we've built over the past year, and I can't believe it's been a year already. We had the 1-year anniversary for the channel, I think it was a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, and we also hit 400 subscribers, and I haven't made a vlog about that yet, but I will. But at this rate, we're probably going to hit 500 before the end of the month, because we've been getting between 5 and 10 subscribers a day, which is just crazy. So anyway, enough talking about channel growth. We're still talking about Destiny. We're coming up to the end of this gameplay here. I ended up getting MVP in this. There were a bunch of games where I got MVP, but they were kind of hit and miss. I did really good in the beginning and then really bad at the end, or I did somewhat good in the beginning and really good in the middle and then somewhat good at the end. Just a mix-up of everything. And I feel like this gameplay that I picked from the stream was just all around just very decent. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. I don't do gameplay commentaries very much, and I'd like to start getting back into them. I used to do them a lot on a different channel that I had a long time ago before I stopped doing that. But I'd like to do gameplays every once in a while, because it shows you the other side of my gaming career, which is not strictly Let's Plays. I like to do a lot of multiplayer gaming. Anyway, I'm getting beside myself. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you liked it, let me know down below with a like or a comment, or even share it with one of your friends. That would go a really long way. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. But anyway, this is the Glacier White PS4 Destiny Special Edition, and I figured I'd do an unboxing video before I started making videos. So, without further ado, here we are. Should have had my box open. So, should have my desk space. Big table.